Apparently we're live. Let's make sure, as I like to do. Busters. Let me start the music over. Apparently I'm live. I see Reiki.
Shippers that come on to Fuel Recovery Achievement.
No, shut the fuck up. Okay, I think I'm live. Okay, sounds like I'm. Anyway, welcome to Movie Crap Live, or I should say, hey, what's up? It's Jim. It's Movie Crap Live. Let me send out the things. Let me say hi to Reiki, Sinram, William Ellman, Purple Goop, Ryan Walterson, Javier Partello, Cornbread. Oh, you remind me anyway. I was about to do it. Cornbread, thank you. I thought I saw Austin earlier. K-Master, hello. How's it going, everybody? What's up? Who else is in here? William Ellman, Ryan Walterson, Purple Goop. I think we got everybody. I'll say hi to more people later. Pup, hello. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition, I guess, of Movie Crap Live. Apparently the Game Awards are going on. I don't follow those, so I didn't know. Apparently this has happened last year. Hello, and I want to say thank you to the shirt for Ryan Walterson giving me the Smiling Friend shirt. It's pretty cool. Sophie keeps asking me if she can watch this show now, which is not what I wanted, but I think it's like not her age group, so I don't think there's going to be anyone who's like, oh, cool, you watch that? I hope. Probably not, but we'll see. I was like, it's not, I don't want her watching that Halloween episode. Yeesh. Anyway, yes, welcome to Movie Crap Live. Oh, so Piggy and Ralph sang at the Game Awards? That's awesome. I like that. Oh, time for Kevin James to buy WB and Netflix. Bloxy, I hope you're cooking at your job. Let me move this mic a little, sorry. Hope everything's good. Now, can we see me? What the? Okay. I can see. Did I switch it? I thought I switched it. Okay. It's being weird with the. All right. Anyway, it says time for Kevin James. I will reveal the energy drink, which was I saw this one at a store and I was like, we got to do this. I don't do Monster all the time, but it said Viking Berry, and it had these Viking ladies, and this Viking dude there, and it looked pretty cool. And I was like, I got to do it. So this is Viking Berry. I don't know what the differences there, but cheers to you, Bloxy. Thank you for the first super chat of the night. Kevin James should be more involved. All right, I do agree he is actually more interesting. I will say that, but yeah, but hey, they have a lot more content IP now. Maybe they can do something with him. Cheers to you, Bloxy. And hello, Flippy Super. Sorry. Been a cool, I don't know, holidays are hectic. And all the stuff going on, all the obligations and so forth. What is that thing right here? It looks weird. Okay. I was trying to put the lights down there for some reason. I don't know. So this year I'm like, whoa. Fucking holidays, am I right? Not losing its luster for me a bit. The fun rather. But I did see damn it. The Michelle Pfeiffer Michael Showalter Christmas movie, like not whatever it is, but it's weird because I think of it as holiday, and other people told me it's holiday, like a few people, because the ad in all over New York says holiday, and then the title's like really small in the corner, and so I can't remember the title. It was kind of like a cool idea, but I don't know. I don't know if I love Showalter as much as like, other than the, what was it with the three guys? I'm not remembering anything. Anyway, with him and Michael Ian Black and stuff, that was a good, and David Wayne, that was a good show. Anyway, I almost didn't have these lights, and I fixed them with, I don't know if you can see the duct tape. I don't want to touch them because it took me a while to. Oh, what fun! Thank you, Senator. Yeah, not great. Michelle Pfeiffer was really good. I'll give her that. Michelle Pfeiffer, Felicity Jones. I was like, this is not your kind of thing. Um, no, I had to like cut some of it and like attach it through this like adapter, which I have another one in the that came with it. And I was gonna shoot a lot of stuff last night, and I didn't because I was trying to figure out these lights because I like to have the flashy things, and I thought we have a good thing going, and I did have something to replace it if that happened. But yeah, I like figured it out. I did it today after I got home. It didn't take me that long. I did fuck with it for like an hour last night, and while I was messing and figuring things out, when I got it and broke things and cut things and like was wondering where my electrical tape is and all that, and then I went and I felt really proud of myself. I was like, I fixed something, and then I went, man, I should buy new lights. But I felt good about doing this, so it can still do the thing. It still does the thing, so don't worry. It still does that. But it was quite the journey. I kind of like the red blue. I don't like that. I do like. I don't know if any of this registers. That's the same. I'll just do that anyway. Um, I don't know if this small talk is interesting. But other than that, I can't think of too much. But yeah, that is why there was that short last night. I wasn't gonna be, but I was trying to fix these for way too long, and that ate up the time there. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, my kids are watching those Christmas Chronicles. Man, those things are never going away. We're always gonna have. I don't know. I do love watching Kurt Russell. Every time I'm like, man, Kurt Russell's fun. I like Kurt Russell. It's just a fact. Last thing Disney wrote. I would say that, but it's what they say. Well, what did he know? What does he know? Anyway, trying to think what else. I guess the Family Guy thing came out. Other stuff. I do other stuff. It's just a little hectic with holiday stuff and work and everything. But um, yeah, I'm sure it's hectic for all of you who are not watching the Game Awards while this is on. Um, it's just hectic. Anyway, before we really get into it, I guess. Oh, and Sophie was on recess therapy today, so if you haven't checked that out, check it out. Um, a lot of this is going to be just certain things. So I know Cinerim, who's doing the timestamps, doing a wonderful job. You'll probably see a long section for the Netflix WB, although it broke. There's been a lot of analysis. I've read a ton of it, and listened to a lot of it and stuff like that, as well as Disney's Sora deal today. Um, so kind of a lot of unfortunate news, to be 100%. We're probably like, cool, that's a Street Fighter movie teaser. Really? I didn't know that. Street. Hold on, let me find this. Let me just put trailer. I noticed if teaser doesn't. Oh, okay. It's a minute. I can. I don't. Should I? Oh, it looks cool. Oh, 50 Cent. Okay, I'm liking the casting. I like these. Oh, yeah, that guy's. It's very like 2020s lighting. I'm just watching the Street Fighter. Okay. All right, this looks fun. This looks fun. I'm a little like not in love with how it's lit and stuff, but that's just like, when is that coming out? Does it come out before only in theaters 2026? Do we have a date on that? Oh, he's beating up the car. I love it. Oh, Joe Blow, get out of here. Um. Uh. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Thank you. Oh, Devil May Cry season 2, May 12th, announced at Game Awards. Thank you, Jortunes, and cheers to you. Thank you for that. Cheers to you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you for that comment, Ryan. October 16th. Okay. I was like, is this going to come out before Mortal Kombat 2? Sounds like a good reason to finally review the first Street Fighter movie because I've never done that. So, the interesting video game movie year, we get Super Mario Brothers. What is it? Super Mario Brothers, Mortal Kombat, Super Mario Bros. 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Hey Nathaniel Foga, and then Street Fighter. I'm sure there's a couple I'm forgetting about. I'm sure people in the chat will let me know. I watched this Droopy cartoon, and I'm not sure the name of it, but if there's ever a thing that I would say is orange as fuck, it would be that. And now I can't. I'll. It was like in Droopy Sheepwrecked, 1958. It was like, for me, it was Tuesday. Nice. Uh, it was like the most orange cartoon. Like basically, like all the backgrounds are orange. It was like fucking. I was like, it worked, but I was like, wow, I've never seen anyone go so hard on orange. Other than Droopy cartoons are cool. It was on Cartoon All Stars, which was always fun. They've been playing. I know they did a holiday Cartoon All Stars, which I kind of want to see. But anyway, oh, congratulations, the fan of Falcon. All right, let's. I can't think of any small talk. I'm tired. That's the main. That's the main small talk. Well, I guess the one thing. Sorry, I did want to say this. Is I did a reaction to Ha Ha You Clowns, and I'm noticing the people who didn't like what I said. Um. Oh, cool. Smiling Friends hoodie. That's neat. Um. It seems like everyone's like likes it for being so normal, and I was like, but I have like Abbott Elementary for that. I don't need. I just didn't. I don't know. I like don't. I don't fully. I don't hate the show. I did say I don't want to watch it anymore, but that was a natural reaction. But it is interesting how many people find it like ironically unironic. I don't know if I see it, but I did give it a chance. But I don't know. It was interesting. People seem to really like it. I don't know. I will say the Bomber Jacket episode is a good episode. I'm not. I will defend that, but I did when I was like I could watch two more, and I just went no. So wait, you're here? I am. I think so. Anyway, I mean, it's fine. I just wasn't. There's other shows I have for that. I don't know if it was that much better than. It's not better than Abbott Elementary. I don't think so. Zodberg, how's it going? Not that anyone's comparing them. Only me and my weird comparison. Also, you see extra Christmas lights. All right, back there, if you can notice. Ooh, pretty neat. I'm interested. Now I kind of want to do the watch. I'm curious what it is. Anyway, let's just do this and get into it because there are a few things to talk about tonight. All right, so this and everything I do is spurred by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show, where I will drink my lovely Viking energy drink, and read definitely 100%. Uh, Costello, man, Ryan, you're killing it tonight. Where I will drink my energy drink and talk and help me and stuff like that. But also the Patreon, which has all sorts of cool stuff like exclusive commentaries. I recently posted my commentary for my like kind of first project, major biggest project ever, or not biggest, sorry, first project I guess, and biggest project in high school. Let me say that, Full Moon Madness, which was a film production class I took at Towson. I did a comment. I realized I hadn't done commentary on certain earlier things, so I did that. As well as you get access to my public access show, all sorts of other parts of my commentary series and stuff like that is all through the Patreon. Postcards, More Power in the Movie Review. That video is coming soon, and all sorts of stuff like that if you're financially able to do so. And if we get you $20, I will make these lights go all flashy, which they can still do. We saw that. I managed to save these lights. I hope they work next week. We'll see. We might get another thing I have to do that. I do have a replacement. I'm not sure how it looks on camera though. I got to do a test. But anyway, yes. Um, anyway, but if you're financially able to do so, but if not, just subscribing and liking this video. And if you're watching, that very much helps. If you want to turn on notifications, you'll get all sorts of things like knowing when I do community posts, like throwbacks, doing you know, knowing when the video is doing, knowing when I do instant premieres, knowing when streaming coming, like that. If you want to, if you're just watching and you don't have a login, which there are people like that, thank you just for being here. I really very much appreciate it. William Elman says the Element of Crime 1984 is also one of the most orange movies of all time. I don't know that one. That's interesting. But it's just like, it's interesting when you see like, because everything, like there's certain colors like blue or red you see movies and shorts always in that, and it's just weird to see like orange. All right, okay. Because most people when they do the West, they do yellow, and they just went orange. I find it interesting. It was good. Droopy's cool. I don't see him. He's MGM, but he's not. When they do Tom and Jerry on MeTV Tunes, they sort of just do Tom and Jerry. But I don't watch the Tom and Jerry block a lot. So anyway, cheers to you. Um, I I don't know. I don't know if it did take place in Mexico. It was just sort of the West. It kind of played Monument Valley, but they all cartoons take place in Monument Valley. I think even Roadrunner and Coyote, right? Monument Valley looks cool. Why would you not have something take place there? All right. Also, the Discord. If you like everyone in this chat right now, it's just a really cool community. The one of the only communities attached to a YouTuber I've ever heard compliments on is this one, and I'm not joking about that. You do a great job, and it's really wonderful. If you want to go there, you can do all sorts of cool channels like there's the Ask Jim channel. There's suggestions for Jim channel. There's you can do artist self promo. You can talk about movie discussions. You can talk about video game discussions. You can do all sorts of things. They do watch along, and they're doing Fargo. Oh, pretty cool, and all sorts of stuff like that. I will get to the Ask Jim thing. There was like a Red Letter Media thing, and I wanted to watch all of it, and I haven't gotten a chance to. So I'm sorry about the backlog. I will try to get to that this weekend. And yes, but it's really wonderful. And it's run very well by Cornbread, Ryan Walters, and Zane Powers in Austin, and they do a great job. Um, yeah, I did see a thing. It was like games that have won the best game at the Game Awards, and I was like, I don't think I know anything about games. That's. I was like, I don't know most of those. Tomorrow they're watching. Usually they do Saturday, but they're doing Friday. Is that why? Anyway, all right. Let's just let's just get into this. So the first thing I'm gonna try to hit the thumbnail things first because the Warner. I think maybe the Warner thing won't take it up, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff. So first off, this dropped today. I kind of thought uh I kind of thought this would end up being because I knew there was a countdown in Times Square. I didn't see it though. I didn't go in Times Square though. For Supergirl, the Supergirl kind of it's a teaser, but it's the first trailer or whatever came out. That I talked about. I watched it earlier on Blinty. If you scroll back, you can hear me watching it. I thought it was a cool trailer. It very much feels like a studio run by James Gunn, despite the fact that Craig Gillespie directed it. Um, I know he did more, I thought, press than Craig Gillespie, which was like, this is not a good sign. I noticed because there's so many entertainment news stories, nobody dwelled on that this time. But it looked fun. It looked like a very different Supergirl. I know Kara has been sort of been reshaped a few times as I've seen in DC Superhero Girl. She wasn't the Supergirl I grew up with necessarily. It doesn't mean I'm upset or think it's bad. I'm just saying. Um, and she has become more like jockish and party girl and stuff like that. I think I got Millie Alcott's casting. I was like, okay, I get this more now. Like I wasn't like against it, but now I'm like, all right, I get what the deal is there. But yeah, I wish Craig Gillespie had got more. I didn't notice Lobo, and I heard a few people talking about it, and I'm just like, he was in that, and it's real blink and you miss it kind of thing. But Lobo's there. You saw the villain sorta. Mainly, I got from is you get that she is a lot more messier. It actually feels more Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe that's why we're talking about uh, you know, James Gunn with that. I also was thinking like, how come in James Gunn movies like they always have like Earth music, and wouldn't it be cooler to have like space music like from other aliens and stuff? Like, what if aliens wrote that Blondie song in the trailer and stuff? I think that would be more interesting. Um, to be honest with you, we had like I don't know. It's fun, but I was like, okay, this is the studio run by James Gunn. Hey, Super Dusky. Um, I get it, but yeah, it was it. That part I didn't love as much, but it looked like a fun movie. I do think like it when we're seeing it, the financial aspect of this film, which people were talking about the box office. I think it's more of a test of the DC thing because Superman is a big name. Supergirl is not as big of a name, unfortunately. So I do think like this is gonna have to really be really good. and really nail its kind of tone and get people into it. But unless I think it can, and I think she's good enough, and Craig Gillespie's kind of a good populist director kind of guy. So I definitely think I think it could happen. I think it's going to be a cool movie. I'm excited for it. But and I will actually review the other Supergirl movie. I've never seen it, so I was like, if they when this comes out, I will officially do it. I've been sort of been a thing I've considered a lot of times. I'm like, you know what? I think it'll be time, but it looks obviously a very different film. I'm curious if I can take the kids and stuff. I didn't get to show them because there's other stuff, and I forgot honestly. But Crypto showing up at the beginning, I know it annoyed people, but it is her dog, and if you have Crypto, why not? So he's not in it too much. Um, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting how this press stuff goes and like how much it reminds us all of Guardians is like gonna be weird, but we'll see. I don't think there's much more to talk about. So Disney and Sora, this is like the double header of bullshit, shitty stories. So this will be a lot of me being like, "This sucks, dude." So Disney today signed a deal with Sora users of the AI. People say creation. I would say that's not even accurate. And they've decided to partner with OpenAI and invest $1 billion in the shitty guy run artificial intelligence juggernaut. I'm reading this off Hollywood Reporter to be 100%. As a ink on a license deal that would allow users of the AI platform, I'm not going to say creation, to make clips using iconic characters from Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars franchises. The 3-year deal signals that the studio may look to embrace rather than fight AI startups. And that Hollywood companies are able to, by this thinking, at least Hollywood companies are able to monetize their IP with lucrative licensing deals. Neat. This and as well as some of them will show up on their on Disney Plus. I guess the ones they like and stuff. This is obviously not a good deal for anyone other than Disney. I am not happy about this deal. I think this is very typical of Bob Iger because he's a guy who buys his way into stuff. He's not a guy who innovates, and I think he will be looked at by certain people as an innovator here, but he is not. Um, a lot of this is two things. One, Disney has been saying they're going to do AI, and AI will be on Disney Plus, and that is basically this deal like made that a reality. Um, no, I know. I think it's because I was looking up an article and it doesn't like when I do that. I don't think. Sorry about that. Oh well, we try our best around here. I mean it's just me. I try my best. But yes, they do want user created AI content to be on Disney Plus, which we said they're going to do. I really hate this deal, and I honestly think this is the most devaluing I've seen of Disney ever, because letting anyone make the stuff, like, wouldn't that devalue what you're doing currently? What if something becomes viral from that Disney does not approve of? Are they happy with the licensing deal? Like, what if I upload that to YouTube, and even if it's not getting monetized, can I just take away some of your market share in a sense if it's big enough? I just don't see the plus to this at all, and especially like the weird like iffy things about the legality of AI and open AI. I really do think Bob Iger, I'm going to keep saying this, is he really devalued the company because the specialness of Disney is now gone. Anyone can make it. It doesn't make Star Wars special. It doesn't, if I see Darth Vader, doing the Dougie or whatever stupid ass dance is big, it's fine if dances are big, but like I'm going to see him do Soldier Boy and this and that, and like I'll see a different one every day. I'm not going to want to see Darth Vader in a movie or Boba Fett or The Mandalorian. And I don't really think they understand what they just did and opened the door to. Bob Iger is not a good studio head. He just bought his way into stuff to make a huge studio. I'm really sick of people who just buy up shit and don't even do it. I mean, like 20th Century Fox, like he really, I don't know. He really just bought that for the Disney Plus of it all. He's just like not a really smart studio head. And I understand a big part of this is what Disney is fighting and what Netflix is fighting is actually what the biggest streaming service is. And if you can guess in the chat, it's YouTube. YouTube is the biggest streaming service. Every analyst thing I read this week was how Netflix is freaked out by YouTube because they have more engagement. It's also like, how many videos are uploaded every minute. I don't know what the stat is at this point, but it's got to be a lot higher than the stuff coming out on any streaming service. Now, you should probably think like there's no way any of you guys could compete with that, and or why aren't you just making thank you, Super Kirby Dude. Why aren't you just making a YouTube knockoff or something? But they want the engagement on their own streaming services. I really think this is a huge mistake if you're trying to counter YouTube with this. But I just I do not think they really know what they're doing here. And I think this is a huge mistake. And I know a lot of studios just want to license stuff, but like what about the likenesses of people? Like is Adam Driver, if you have Kylo Ren show up, what if the mask comes off, it looks like Adam Driver? Did he sign off on this? Like what is the it really devalues the brand and its specificity. And I'm curious like what kind of characters are able to do stuff, but what are people going to do with these things? Like, and it's I don't know. And if you see a section on Disney Plus like things users made, it's not the same thing as like, if I see, myself or I guess there's other people on here. No, you see, if you see myself or Animat or Saber or Izzy or Pan or so many other people, we all do different sort of things and it's more relaxed. And I think streaming services don't really have that unless they want to let people upload stuff, but I just don't see it. I think it's such a dumb move, but I think embracing AI, like, what if the bubble bursts and you still have this deal running for 2 more years? I just don't think they're really thinking. I really think this was a stupid move. I would like to know what characters are available, but like if you're like doing a voice for something, like can they use, Josh Gad for Olaf and stuff like that? It really, and that they invested in it. I think this is, Disney has really well, one thing I think Disney is really gonna come up to this decade is when Dana Terrence said, I think that's her name, who did Guinevere's whatever, when she said like you can just pirate my shit from there, I don't care anymore. What they're gonna run into is there are not every creator is gonna jump ship and go independent. But the fact that she did, and she doesn't have, I think we can think of creators with bigger followings. If they want to go independent, that's going to hurt these studios. And the fact that this is their answer, the two, Disney and Netflix, their answer to YouTube is this, I think is a mistake because people are going to be like, there's less competition. You're telling me what to do and you're making AI bullshit. Fuck this. I'll make my own thing. And it's a harder road. And there's a lot of people who either can't afford it or don't want to do it. But I think I think you will see less kind of auteur creators being made by these studios, which is not good for them. And Dana Terrence saying that shit, like really, I really think that's going to continue. I don't think they're thinking really clearly about the future. I think they're thinking of the licenses, the money they're going to make in the short term. But like, her show, everyone I know who's seen it likes it a lot and will watch the next one. And if it continues, Hulu could have had that, and adult animation's growing, and they're just letting this go because they just know how to exploit the things that they have like Disney does, but I don't think they're really thinking because that's going to become a crossover. I think it's going to be like the 80s where their highest grossing movie for a long time was Snow White, a re-release, and they're gonna just be making money off the same shit, and that's not good for them. And Bob Iger is not an innovative He's not an innovative executive, because if he was smart, he'd be developing new things. And he's not. He's just selling the old things. And that's like the Disney crutch that they will, trip on. All right. It just really annoys me. I was just really shocked that Disney would just like do that. I mean, we knew they announced it was coming, but I think it's a huge mistake. All right. We're going to talk about the Netflix, Paramount, Netflix WB thing. Sorry if this is a dry or boring show, but if you have a funny super chat, I'll live you think so. Well, here, let's talk about a story before I go on this like long thing here. Let's talk about two things. Simpsons movie 2 has moved from July 23rd, 2027 to September 3rd, 2027. I think it's because September is a much bigger weekend. I've heard some people say, "Oh, we shouldn't have faith in it." I do not think that's the case there. I think it is because they want to give it a little more time, and they know September, especially with like look at what happened with Beetlejuice, can happen there. So I don't think that's crazy. In other Disney release news, this kind of got buried, but they are actually going to release the Star Wars Despecialized cut in, I believe it's April of 2027. I will 100% go to this. I think it's a smart move. I'm really curious why they waited, what the logistics of all this is. I would love to read an article on that. But I do think I do think it'll be amazing to see. I'll take as many family members who want to go as they can, because I think that's going to be amazing. I think some people will be weird about it, and not cool. But I do think this is going to be interesting, and I'm curious. I would love Empire and Jedi as well. I will see those. I will go see those. I didn't see Return of the Jedi. I almost thought about seeing, even though I don't like that special edition very much. In fact, I let my son. I don't know. It's Return of the Jedi is the one I hate the most. Empire, I'm like okay with, but it'll be nice to see those, and maybe those will come on Disney Plus. But those are sort of out. But I think like giving them a better treatment, I would put up with and pay money for that. So hopefully the economy's still there by the time this comes out. I'm surprised Disney's doing it. But yeah, I would love to know the logistics, like how they're getting to do it. Apparently there was a scan, but I know like J.J. Abrams like fought a few times and they wouldn't give him an answer. So it's kind of interesting. It's actually coming out, but it is coming out. The despecialized cut will come out around the 50th anniversary. I think that'll be really cool. If you've never seen any of the Star Wars movies, the original trilogy in a theater, they are some of the best theater movies of all time. Like even the special editions, they're fucking awesome. All right. So we talked about Netflix buying WB last week. There was a lot of things that came out since then. And so I might repeat myself a little, but for the most part, this is new. I've heard so much analysis and stuff like that. I'm going to try to go over everything and have more nuanced thoughts than like I literally read it on stream and reacted to it. And it's weird. But first off, nobody knows shit because this is incredibly unprecedented. But at the same time, mostly it's bad. There were a few people who brought up possibly good things, which I will at least enter my brain. I don't know if I believe it. As we know, WB was bought by Netflix. Netflix has been notoriously anti-movie theater for a long time. They say it's more consumer friendly. I think this is verbiage close to what a lot of people say the streaming model is direct to consumer. That's what they are implying by that. They wanted to go direct to consumer as fast as fucking possible, and they want to keep that going. But the problem is if theaters have said if they lose 10% of what's coming out now, they would be gone. They would go on. If WB, which has a supposedly close to 30% market share, I'm not a big like market share obsessed guy, but in this stat, I am. If they have 30%, that's very bad. However, Netflix and Reed Hastings and all those guys have kind of been wishy-washy. At first, they're like, look, we'll honor everything up to 2029, but they will refigure out the theatrical window. But at the same time, they've also been like, no, Warner Brothers will be in the theater business or some regard or something. A lot of people brought up, oh, sorry, 2027. Need some of that energy. 2027 is a big movie year for them. They have Superman 2. They have Minecraft 2, which most people think is $1 billion movie. Are they going to look at that money and go, well, maybe we should have a different avenue? Maybe that'll help us make some of that money back. Maybe it would be good to have two studios. I've heard all sorts of things from them that maybe they won't be as aggressive at taking away the theaters because I think they're probably overwhelmed. The whole idea of it is a little crazy. We don't really have other than the 2029 idea, what that means and why they picked that date. I don't know. David Zaslav apparently will stay CEO of Warner's, not of Netflix proper. Hold on, William Owens says, I can't wait to see the original Sly Snoots and the Max Rebo band. I mean, you joke, William Owen, but I would love to see those guys up there. I love those guys. Anyway, cheers to you, man. Thank you. Or like I've watched the despecialized cut. I projected through the DVD that they came out with, and it makes you think filmmaking is possible. If you're like, it's not a big deal. That movie is grungy as fuck, and you will be like, wow, it's kind of like rough around the edges, and like it makes it feel like it's more possible than you would presently, which I'm that part I like. Anyway, David Zaslav will remain as CEO. He also changed his whole payment schedule so he could make as much off this merger as possible because he's a total shit person. But let's talk about Paramount. Paramount's hostile takeover, which hasn't really happened, and as we found out with Warner Brothers, they or with Netflix, this is to their advantage because they have two things that's going to work out from here. One is Paramount and the Ellisons' way to take over Hollywood, which is way too soon, and they really shouldn't. And they're evil and shitty, and their money comes from Jared Kushner and Saudis and all this shit, which a lot of people knew. But also, what Netflix just did is they saw Paramount coming up. They shot those guys down. They're basically holding Warner Brothers in a pattern, which is their next streamer, and they just realized that they sort of screwed over the whole landscape and continue to be number one. Like, even if this doesn't work out, they've held everything up for like 2 years, and they've held back Paramount, and they've held back Warner Brothers, and they've stopped Comcast from getting this whole thing. Maybe this won't work out. If it doesn't work out, it works out for Netflix. But Emblet, said, let me remind you the ramifications of Disney owning Fox. Now only generating IP, and notice how Wes Anderson and Yorgos Lanthimos jumped to Universal. You are correct, they did jump to Universal, which is whatever the thing is you pay with always takes you a minute. No, I think like Christopher Nolan is coming out looking great in this. And I think there are a lot of people who will jump ship from both Netflix and Warner Brothers, which will be interesting. Cheers to you, Emblet. But the thing is here also is Netflix, unlike Disney, who is known, when they bought 20th Century Fox, how many studios had they bought? They bought Lucasfilm by that point. They bought Marvel. They bought Pixar. It was not crazy. It was crazy to buy another major studio, but it wasn't crazy for them to buy something like that. Major acquisition. Netflix has bought some small things, gaming studios. They bought that comic creators thing or whatever. They really haven't bought huge things like this. So there isn't Netflix did this when they did that. There really isn't a blueprint whatsoever to follow. So that's why also I think Netflix's statements go from, theaters are over, to like, well, maybe we'll keep theaters because we want talent, and it's still a talent agency town. They don't want, when Ryan Coogler's not working for Disney, which I think is going to be like 5 years or something where he's just doing Disney stuff, he actually comes back to Warner Brothers and doesn't just like deal with Disney or Universal, which the way he's buddying up to Christopher Nolan, I'd say and if you're not going to do the theatrical thing, I also think like if they give up theatrical, what new studio will they have to deal with? I think that's something they're not thinking about. Couldn't an A24 or a Neon be like, hey, there's a lot more slots in the release schedule. Could I get, in more investor money and make like a huge, a ton more movies now because the slots are there and they start becoming a bigger studio? You kind of like let someone else do that. Hey, Cornred, how's it going? I'm glad you're back. I think that's something no one's really talking about. But there isn't really an answer. We do know that 2 to 3 billion savings, which means there'll be a lot of jobs. Apparently, most it'll be executives losing jobs. But since the pandemic and the dual strikes, about 45,000 jobs in the industry have disappeared. Which then that's before this, which is really bad. Um, but a lot of people are saying one is Netflix has already said they will probably make even more stuff, and that they're not ending HBO Max right away. And a lot of industry people have brought up they're very very good at making stuff, and they're very good at making a lot of stuff, and having the IP of Warner Brothers and like Looney Tunes and all that and all the animation and all that, and like having to be able to understand how to make stuff, and a lot of stuff could work out. Now I think Netflix's quality isn't great because it does feel like they don't have any producers there to rein things in, which I'm not saying every movie needs that, but Netflix movies sort of feel like they do. I'm not one of those like they all suck. I don't watch all those bullshit movies on Netflix. That's all these people. All these people. I think that's a tell. People are like, all the Netflix movies suck. I'm like, yeah, but are you like I watched half of Train Dreams, and that was a bit ago. I want to sit down and watch it totally. But like they have a lot of good stuff on there too. And there's sometimes like something can happen where you feel like Frankenstein, for example. A review will be out soon, I hope. It's fun to watch the director go off, but sometimes you're like, maybe they should have reined it in. And I'm wondering, once they have more stuff, will that get worse or something like that? But a lot of people said, they get the Warner lot is part of this deal. DC, Scooby Doo. They're buying a lot of creator overall deals like J.J. Abrams. I think Chuck Lorre. They are a huge Warner Brothers thing. They are a huge studio. But the other problem is like, Netflix also bought the two of their biggest shows that aren't theirs, which would be Friends and Gilmore Girls were brought up. Those are both Warner Brothers shows. Now they own them. And could they, and the scary thing people are saying is, could they then go, well, no more syndication. They'll never be on any other streaming service. They will just be here. Now, a lot of people are saying that they won't do that because of the executives there know the landscape and the ecosystem. But Netflix now has the possibility to, like, Warner TV is huge, not just scripted and unscripted and all that stuff. If they're just like, it all is just on Netflix, you got to pay for Netflix, and now the price is going up and all that. Could they do that? Yeah, actually, they could do that, and that's the scary thing about this. I understand when a couple analysts were bringing up that they could be making more stuff, and we could be back to peak streaming again, just for Netflix, nobody else. But I do think we'll see. This won't really close till 2027, and we'll see what happens in the late 2020s. And the fact they brought up 2029, and potentially they will only have control of Warner Brothers for 2 years when they suddenly like really fuck with the release windows, is going to be interesting. But a lot of people brought up like once they're actually there and they make like that $1 billion for Minecraft, or they make a huge box office for Superman 2 theoretically, or anything else, will they suddenly go, well, this isn't so bad, maybe Knives Out 4 should come out from Warner Brothers now or something, and Warner Brothers doesn't have a bad relationship with the theater chains, and I do think they're going to have to come to terms with that. Overall, I am not optimistic, however, what this will be. The other thing is, apparently an early 2010s Netflix quote was, in early 2010s they said, the goal is for Netflix to become HBO before HBO can become Netflix, which I guess in a sense they're right. They're also a company that someone brought up that the two things they feel Netflix's two biggest competitions. I already brought up YouTube, and they're worried about TikTok and video games and stuff. They've they've literally said their biggest competition is sleep. So some real healthy thinking over there with the Netflix people. Um, a lot of people have brought up that maybe what'll happen to Warner Brothers and HBO is it'll just sort of be like how Hulu is with FX. Will David Zaslav be okay with that? Will they be able to keep the executives who they want with that? Will that actually work? Is that what's going to happen? We don't know. And like even the live action Scooby Doo thing, that's a Warner Brothers thing. And now they also have, Godzilla. They have DC Comics. They have the rights to Sinners for, a little bit. So I don't know. This is gonna be I really don't like it, and I don't think it's gonna be good, and it's not gonna be good for the industry, and I don't think it'll be good for movie theaters. I think Warner Bros is gonna have to figure it out. There's enough time where like I do think another studio will rise up if they take away the theatrical window, and that might hurt Netflix more than help it. And maybe they're starting to the reality is setting in of the ecosystem they have bought because they Warner Brothers has a lot of money coming in from like syndication, from television, from cable. And as much as they're like, well, we didn't buy the cable channels, you were still a feeder for that. Also, independent production companies rely on Netflix. They make stuff for Netflix. And now that they have all this, does Netflix just everything's in house? Because it financially makes more sense. I don't know because there's not a studio this big. And like as much as you say Disney is, Disney still, Bluey's not fully owned by Disney. So we'll see what's going to happen, but it's really not good. And the ramifications could be bigger than we realize. It could also be that they go, oh man, this is sort of making a lot of money. And Netflix is sort of a thing that would go, this is like sort of working. So what if we just kept that maybe? I can see that happening actually because the few things they have bought and shows and stuff, they do sort of leave it alone, and they are sort of a very leave. But this is such a big thing, I can imagine they wouldn't. But I don't know. They might be more aggressive about the Scooby Doo versions. We might get, how they had two Master Universe. Maybe they'll have two Scooby Doos going at once. Maybe they'll have two, a Superman cartoon show and a Superman movie, or two different Superman cartoons, or all that. I think it'll be a really weird end of the 2020s with this merger. I'm surprised they got it. I don't think the Ellisons will get it back despite their hostile takeover idea. It seems like Trump just wants CNN, which Netflix is not buying. Uh, which is like, who the fuck cares? Like, I really think that's one of the dumbest, like, Trump obsessions. Like, he only cares about shit that was really big in 1990. No, Netflix is going to get I think added $10 billion. It has a lot of debt, and that's always been a thing. And the debt has just grown quite tremendously. I don't think it's going to be. It's sort of like in that too big to fail section at this point. So I do not think it's going to fall off. But man, it's I don't know. This is a whole lot of not good. And if you enjoy seeing movies in theaters, I do not think this is good news at this time. I do think someone's going to come up and take those slots from them if they give them up, and I think they need to be really smart about it. But if they have, take over in 2027, we have like 2 years until they decide to do whatever they're going to do. But I do think like pulling movies from theaters doesn't work out for you because there's a lot of movies I know that people don't see because they left too quickly and they kind of get forgotten about. I think they'll have to figure that out. The direct to consumer thing only really works if they want to see your stuff. So, but it is weird that they brought up YouTube so much and that's obsession because you think like we just make shitty stuff over here, but okay, I don't know. I think it's just because there is so much. I think that's just like, it's not a, it's not a quality. It's issue. All right. It's just the volume of it. You know what I mean? It's just anyway. All right. I just don't like this at all. Frankly, I am curious to see where it goes, and I guess we'll all see where it goes. Hopefully, we'll still be talking about it here. And sorry if I'm going on too much. I feel like this was something I should talk more about. So, all right, we got. I guess they're all today, really. 3 trailers today. One for the drama, which is with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. Supposedly there is a twist or something that was I kept reading leaked on Reddit. I hadn't heard that. It looked kind of like a fun spring release, which Zendaya did previously with Challengers. I don't think this will be as fun as Challengers, but I don't know. I don't know. The next one, The Moment, which is the Charlie XCX kind of parody movie, maybe. I do think this movie might be a little too late because the Brat summer thing is like going to be almost like 1.5 summers away at that point. But I do actually like Brat quite a bit, and I like her, so maybe I'll see it. But it does feel like 2 trailers. I'm not sure. Like, do they know something? What are they doing? I have seen like there's been much more press for the January stuff. Like I've seen 28. We'll get into the 20 days later thing, but it is interesting hearing so much about January stuff this early. And then we got a trailer for the Avatar's live action season 2, which shock of all shock looked like garbage. So congratulations. I don't know, I'm not gonna review it this time. I was like, what's funny? I was like, I did see the first one, and I don't remember it at all. That's not even a diss. I just don't. Who would remember that? I can't remember these. I really don't remember. They're not. It's not even me making a statement. They're not. I don't like live action remakes. It's like Speed Racer, uh, Pete's Dragon. They're just very free. I do notice like anytime someone brings up a live action remake to an actor in an interview, they're like, "Oh no, no!" Like nobody likes these things. All right, so apparently, according to David Kaluuya, there is still a Spider-Punk movie in development. It's still being worked on. I'm not sure what went on with him. He disappeared for years. It was like in a cult or something. I don't know, but he seems to be back, and he says he is still working on a Spider-Punk movie. I'm cool with that. I'm curious, like what exactly it's going to be, but I love the Spider-Verse stuff, so I don't mind. I think you could do a ton of spin-offs and have fun with that, and it'd be sort of interesting. So I did see Ted season 2 is coming out. That's good for Ted season 2. I think people are down for that. People love Family Guy still, you know. In probably you missed this news. Andrew Stanton, the director of John Carter and a couple Stranger Things episodes. No, the director of Wally, and I think the next Toy Story actually. There's a first look at this film he made in the blink of an eye. It follows 3 storylines from past, present, and future that span thousands of years and represent the circle of life. This is like his weird sci-fi movie that a lot of people thought were buried or never got shot or like whatever. Apparently, it's going to play at Sundance, which is weird since he's directing the bigger one of the bigger movies this coming year. But apparently, it is playing at Sundance. It looks like it might actually see the light of day. I'm curious about this movie. If anyone sees it, let me know. So 28 days later, or 28 years later, why? So we had the first one came out this summer. The next one, which is getting good notices, I guess it came out in England or something. I'm a little lost on why we're getting so many towards the end of the year, but the buzz is good on the second one, and now Sony has officially released or greenlit the third one, even though they spent a ton to get the rights to release this um uh um to get this trilogy. They have finally approved it. Alex Garland's writing the script, and Cillian Murphy is going to star in it. I think they kind of wanted Cillian in more in these. Apparently, he's in part of the second one. So there will be a third one. It is going to happen before the second one comes out. I guess the buzz is good, and they kind of are going to do it. I'm surprised they like because those movies don't cost that much. Why they didn't just approve all of them? But whatever, they finally did do that. So the Odyssey preview thing, I think this needs to be explained, and I want to explain this because I don't want people to think. I don't want anyone to misunderstand what the deals with this, because I think it can be a little confusing. So basically is there's a 6-minute preview of the sorry, I'm getting I don't want the computer to go crazy, so I'm trying to load this up. Well, no, I don't want that one. So the Odyssey preview is going to play at in front of re-releases of um or sort of re-releases of One Battle After Another and Sinners, and that's going to be 6 minutes. However, a cut down trailer, which I am assuming is not going to be 6 minutes, is going to play before Avatar. I think it's sort of a prequel sort of thing. Obviously, they don't want an extremely long trailer playing before Avatar, but Sinners and One Battle After Another. I know Nolan people. I went to when I saw Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. I saw a lot of them come to just see the plane sequence or Dark Knight Rises and leave. So there are a lot of people who will do that. And I guess like in his mind, it's to help One Battle After Another in Sinners, but you will get a much shorter preview in Avatar. But if you thought you were going to see the 6 minute thing in Avatar, you're not. That's not happening. I think it's a cool marketing idea, and it helps to films that you may or may not have seen. I think that's kind of a neat idea. But yeah, I just wanted to preface that because I noticed in some of the articles I saw they say an Avatar, but if you look into it, it's because I was like a 6 minute thing before Avatar. That don't seem right, and it doesn't because it shouldn't. So yeah. All right. Oh, so Steven Spielberg has. Okay, I want to talk about this. Steven Spielberg has a UFO movie that's coming out next summer. There have been sort of vague posters all over the world promoting this movie. Let me say one thing. I remember, look, War of the Worlds, when that was coming out, that was supposed to be Spielberg's return to UFO stuff. It was supposed to be like his return to like Close Encounters. That is not what War of the Worlds was, but there was so much hype around it, and they did do vague posters and stuff. I'm not a big War of the Worlds fan. Um, it's sort of doing a different thing. I was sort of set up uh, incorrectly because they were like, "Oh, this is a return to form to his early '70s stuff," and they're really selling it on that. And then I noticed when it got close to coming out, I go, I mean, no, it's like a 9/11 thing. I don't know why. Why did you think that? But so I'm a little like hesitant because I was a little burned by War of the Worlds. Maybe I'll come around to it or just read Close Encounters. I think that's a cool way to market it, and that we're talking about a Spielberg thing. I think Spielberg going back to do UFO stuff would be cool. Is it going to be better than Vast Night or what anyone else has coming out? I don't know, but I'm curious what he's going to do with it. I think he always has something interesting to say about the UFO stuff. And I think much like how people talk about World War II, how he talks about aliens, I think what people forget is when he talked about UFOs and alien stuff. I don't know what the title is though, but I'll say is that he came up with the X Files thing was a Spielberg invention. Spielberg took the UFO thing and mixed it with Watergate, and then War of the Worlds he mixed it with 9/11 kind of stuff. So I do think it will be not just about aliens, but more about aliens as we view them now in our current climate and what that means for like Trump and nationalism and things of that nature. And I do think that'll play into it because that's usually what he does with alien stuff, which is always interesting. I'm sure Spielberg's a big fan of Ice Cube's World of the World. Absolutely. All right, if anyone else wants to do any super chats, we have not gotten to the flashy lights and all that. But we're now going to talk about. Did I get through everything? I have Golden Globes and box office, I think. Okay. Um, the Golden Globe nominations came out. The Golden Globes are a weird award show because do they matter? No. But do they also matter? Yes. Does that make sense? No. It really is like, yeah, that these sort of narrows it down for stuff that will probably be nominated. So if you're looking at these and you're like, oh, maybe I should see this or that, I think this points you in a certain direction. Um, but it also like they'll nominate weird stuff that doesn't matter with that as much. So I'm really unsure what it is on that end. The main categories for best drama were for best drama they had Frankenstein, Hamnet, It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. For best musical or comedy they had Blue Moon, Begonia, Marty Supreme, No Other Choice, Nouvelle Vogue. I think two of these are link letters, and then One Battle After Another. Two link letters. Damn, man, link letters. Like, I probably would have put a. And he didn't get a. You get a director nomination. That's interesting. Or a screenplay nomination, but you put him in. All right, whatever. And then the other one that's probably you're interested in here is best animated. Uh, which would be Arco, Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle. Oh, that's interesting. You realize that. I would have. Anyway. Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, or the character of Rain, which seems to be getting a lot of support. So try to check that out if you can. And then Zootopia 2. That's interesting. Also, The Rock got a Best Actor Drama. He got his nomination, as well as Michael B. Jordan got his first Golden Globe nomination, which is depressing. I don't know where everyone is. I don't know, Game Awards or something. Is that still going on? Probably. Oh well. Hey, we gotta, this is when I can stream, so that's what we're doing. A lot of support by Frankenstein, Jacob Elordi as the creature, Oscar Isaacs. Did Mia Goth get in there? Doesn't seem like she did. Maybe she did. God, there's a lot of people in here, but the main one that people are joking about is the one that said best cinematic and box office achievement. So first off, there are two interesting things in here. The list of them are, I'll list off the ones that aren't as notable, which would be Zootopia 2, Wicked for Good, Weapons, Sinners, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, F1. And then the two that kind of stick out is Avatar Fire and Ash, which hasn't come out yet, which sounds like something Cameron would be like. James Cameron would be like, hey, my things are so big, I can just get a box office award, even despite not even opening. And then K-pop Demon Hunters, which didn't play in theaters, but is a Netflix movie, which is sort of strange. This is such a weird category. I guess it's Golden Globes going like, this is our popular movie thing. I don't know. I feel like I don't know what's gonna win there. Maybe Avatar, maybe K-pop. It can win both, and it can win, but it's also up for best song. Um, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they have. Oh, I didn't know Raphael Sadiq wrote the song from Sinners. That's cool. Didn't know it was him. I remember him from. Isn't he in Tony, Tony, Tony? Oh, that's nice. Anyway, yeah, and then you got Avatar. Avatar is a Miley Cyrus song. Okay, but yeah, it's oh, two wicked songs in here. Oh, okay, because they got two. I don't know. The Golden Globes are sort of kind of dumb. I'll watch them. I think Nikki Glazer did a good job last year. If she keeps that up, it'll be fine, and we'll all be good with it, and we'll all have fun with the awards. All right. Hey, Modelo Butterfly, how's it going? All right, let's move on to box office. So this was actually not as bad. This was an interesting weekend, despite it just being the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Oh, William Elman there says, we love flashing lights. It was just an accident. It was just an accident. It was very good. Oh, okay. Well, first of all, thank you. I think that definitely puts us to the thing. So I'm going to do. Thank you for that, William Elman. Thank you for your generosity, man. I always appreciate it. Do a cheers to you, man. Cheers to you. Some of that Viking dairy. All right. So, the weekend, traditionally, the weekend after Christmas, or the week after Christmas, and I thought I brought this up last week and I'll bring it up again, is not good consumer wise. Things drop off hard because people just had Thanksgiving. They probably spent a lot of money already on shipping stuff out for Christmas. They're not going to stores. They're not even shopping online. Everyone's tired. Leave me alone. I'm just trying to get through this. But also, traditionally, box office wise, it's usually when they put out some dumb genre thing like Dragon Wars that opens to $7 million or something. Five Nights at Freddy's, because it's Five Nights at Freddy's, didn't open with seven. What's going on right now? Didn't open. Well, the computer's freaking out. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's was not open. Five Nights at Freddy's opened a lot bigger. Now, I think Five Nights at Freddy's would have been a lot nicer in October when there was nothing going on. And we could have used a movie or like The Running Man or like Predator Badlands. Whatever, I'm not going to get into that again. But it opened at 64 million, and we actually did better on this weekend than pre-pandemic numbers. If you look at the box office in the 2020s, it's a lot of, you have your traditional summer, you have your Thanksgiving, you have your Christmas stuff. That's not changing. But then you have these weird weekends where like The Conjuring in September opens huge, or Demon Slayer, or this. It's taking advantage of, there's nothing here, why can't I put this here? The Five Nights at Freddy's kids are going to show up no matter what. So let's put it here. It's going to drop off like crazy next weekend. It doesn't matter. We're not competing with Avatar anyway. And they did it. And I sort of applaud them for taking advantage of a weekend and like making, helping the theaters out. It is December. I think everyone could have used the box office, the bump then. The weird thing though, comparing the box office to this is the original premiere on Peacock at the same time this did not. It was, I think, the second biggest video game opening of all time, video game sequel opening of all time. It's already the seventh biggest horror opening of the year, the second best horror opening of the year, yes, and fifth best video game opening of all time, and it made 110 million worldwide. But I do think like it helps stuff out in a weekend that wasn't traditionally one that is getting a lot of support. So it deserves credit for that, and I think it's cool. Universal found a cool way to open a movie in a different weekend. We need more of that right now, and I think we're going to see more studios doing that. Zootopia had a 56% drop. That is not indicative of. First off, it opened really big, and it's already at 220 million, and it's getting close to 1 billion worldwide. No one's really worried, and a drop like this is totally expected. This weekend, and it's still at $43 million. In fact, like that would have been a very healthy number one. But Five Nights at Freddy's 2 kind of pushed everything over the edge. Wicked for Good is what was there other things for Zootopia 2 before I just move on for that? It's still doing, it's almost at 1 billion. It's 262 overseas, and it's the second, if this hits 1 billion, it's the second Disney franchise to have both entries hit 1 billion. The others would be Frozen, which is crazy. Wicked dropped almost 72%. It still has made almost $300 million. It probably has passed $300 million now. That is not good for Wicked for Good, but I also think like a lot of people know the first act of that is better than the second act, and people didn't like it as much and all that, but it's still, they shot them both at the same time, and I think they paid for the cost a while ago, so it's really just not a big deal, to be honest. Like it's not going to make as much as the original, but still made a shit ton of money. And the one I don't know how much you guys care about Jujutsu Kaisen, but that opened at fourth at 10 million. Not a huge opening. It's not a big opening at all there. And then Kill Bill, the Whole Bloody Affair, actually did pretty well for just being like a 4-hour movie. Opened at 6 with 3 million, which surprised a lot of people. And Predator Badlands continues to. It's not going to gross 100 over here, but it's still doing pretty good. And Hamnet is doing pretty good at 8th. It is expanding. It's only made 4 million, but we're probably going to see more of that, particularly with the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. And I didn't talk about I just talked about the Golden Globes because that was a little more notable and stuff like that. Yeah, this was, we should talk more about box office of movies that really help stuff out. And Five Nights at Freddy's 2 definitely did that this weekend. Oh man, we kind of have, I might be a little more more time than I anticipated here. I'm usually anyway, all right, so we did we'll just keep going, but yeah, it's kind of weird. I thought I'd be talking more about Warner Brothers and stuff. If anyone has maybe I should do, maybe we'll just end early tonight. Maybe that'll be the deal. I don't know. I didn't skip. I talked about everything. I do have some stuff from last week, but I kind of let that slide there. Before yeah, because last week was a bit of a mess with the Warner Brothers thing, but anyway, I'll talk about the Obits this week, and maybe I'll find some stories for 10 minutes. We'll just find some stories. Sorry. Kerry Haruki Tejwada, I think, who's in Mortal Kombat and other things. He died this past week, as well as Jeff Garcia, who most people know for Billy Neutron. Hold Um, most people know from Jimmy Neutron. He died as Sheen. He died this past week at age 50, and Jim Ward as well, another famous voice actor. Unfortunately, it was kind of a I don't know what was going on, but we lost two pretty amazing voice actors right there. Um, I did talk about Street Fighter. I mean, I think it just looks very typical of the era, and the lighting looks typical. It looked fun though. I'm like down for the fun of it. I just don't. I wasn't blown away by the visuals. To be honest with you, I thought the visuals left something to be desired on there. I'm not sure where we left off, but I'll talk about a few things. So last week there was that um Macaulay. I don't think we talked about. I'll talk about a few of these things. Um um okay. We heard about the Macaulay Culkin Home Alone, his take for a Home Alone sequel. The thing with that, and a lot of people, his idea basically is that there's a dad and his son, and he the dad gets locked out, and his son sets all these traps, which are sort of like his emotional like the traps are because he's not really connected to him, and it sort of show like he can't connect to him emotionally. And everyone's like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then a lot of other people were like, "Man, Macaulay, we know the issues you have with your dad. Maybe go to therapy or something." I still maintain mine is better that he ends up broke and has to work with the wet bandits to uh, rob a new kid, and I thought that would be an interesting kind of thing. He could end up helping the kid. That could be the twist. I think it would be something, but yeah, it seemed like very much about his own dad actually. We just watched Home Alone, the first one. It's so man, that movie's really good though. I really do think um Chris Columbus works better. He is so Chuck Jones influence. It is like insane. When he's Chuck, like I know he had Chuck Jones in Miss Doubtfire, but like so much of Home Alone is straight out of Chuck Jones. It is like insane. I was like, this is Looney Tunes. This is Wile E. Coyote. But anyway, we did learn that so the Mystery Science Theater 2000 game board game. I don't really I'm not a big board game person. It didn't really stick out to me. I'm not going to support that Kickstarter. I'm just not really that interested in it. It just doesn't like I don't know. I get that they want to do something, but I'm like I'd much rather have another season. You know, it just doesn't really speak to me at all. Um it I don't know. It's just and I looked at it's cool that they included Emily, but um but yeah. Oh, I did see that yes, Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson, who by the way, I think he's actually through the Five Nights at Freddy's movies, he's actually doing better. His movies are doing better financially than Jennifer Lawrence, which is bizarre. I did say they're going to come back at the end of Hunger Games. I don't know. Well, first of all, I don't know why they need to do that. It does seem like Lionsgate is really, really trying to position this movie as a big thing, which I think that is very smart because you really do want, um, you want that movie to be big, and especially people like the last one. I think it is a smart move, but I don't know. We'll see. And I guess the last thing that will go on break. Sorry, maybe this is a shorter one. That's fine. Is Rian Johnson apparently his Star Wars trilogy is officially not happening. I think most people kind of were like, I don't think it is, especially since he's finished a Knives Out uh um trilogy. And I don't know what's going on with Star Wars right now. I mean, I guess it's just gonna come AI garbage, right? That's what it's gonna become. So I guess it doesn't matter. But he revealed that he won't be doing it. All right. I guess we'll take a break. It's a little early. And then I'll come back and then I'll talk about the first SpongeBob Christmas special. And then we'll do questions and then that'll be it. And I'll probably pass out right after. And yeah, thank you all for being here. Um, and yeah, I think next week might be the last stream of the year. Actually, I might try to do like a mess around one, but like official stream like this. Probably the last one. Probably the last one. I think the Merry Dwarves from Obiworks will be the next. What's it? Short next week. Anyway, I'll be right back. Be right back after this. Let me play. I'm gonna play some music, and I'll mute this, use the bathroom, and then we'll be right back. All right. See you soon. Okay, I see that super chat, super Kirby dude. Oh, we got two. Okay, okay. I'll come back. I'll come back. I'll come back. Hold on. Hold on. I was about to get up and I saw that and I was like, oh, I can't. I'll just answer these two. Okay. First off, just watch Friday and I liked it surprisingly. What the fuck? I don't hate it as much as most people. I'll say that. I do want to shoot a review. I didn't get to last night because of these lights. Thanks a lot. Oh, they're still flashing. Anyway, cheers to you, Super Kirby dude. I appreciate it. And Austin says, hey, 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 hey. Cheers to you, man. All right. These will not be flashing when we get back. Then I will use the bathroom, and then we'll finish up. We'll now finish up the stream. Anyway, I'll be right back right after this. Okay. I am back. Hello, everyone. We're going to talk about. Oh, I'm sorry you had a rough night, Alvasquez, and how's it going? All right, let's ride this thing out. We're gonna. I think this is one of the few where I'm not like, oh, we're running long. Not, but I'll answer everybody's question. If you have a question that's gonna take time, I guess. Let's see. Two things. One, we were, unless it didn't refresh properly, we are right around I think, very close to, um, for the next $20 multiple to make the lights flash. And if you'd like to do a super chat to give me energy, that would be appreciated. Um, but yeah, and this is your last chance, I guess. And a reminder, I think next week will be. I definitely will do a stream next week. I would like to do one, like not on. I think Thursdays. Think Christmas. What is the? Hold on, let me look at this right. Oh, Christmas Eve is Wednesday. Christmas Eve is Wednesday. Jesus. Okay, possibly on the 22nd, or yeah, maybe the 22nd, but I don't. I'm not 100% on that. But I definitely know next week. Um, but I don't think the week after 100% no. So I'll just put that uh if you want to be here for next week be the last week. I would like to. How about this? Next week I will at least do the thumbnail thing because if I do another one, it'll be a mess. I will do like who was on thumbnails the most times, and then I can start working. I want to do the energy drink video. I should get that. I don't know if anyone wants that, but I want it. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Um, let's tonight, and this next week is next week. No, I know. I'm saying next week is the 18th. Yes, right? Yeah, 7 days from now. Yes, so that'll be the definitive sort of last movie. There might be a mess around. I don't know, or Sunday or something. I'll have to figure. It might not because the holidays are crazy, man. All right. I would like to do like a Saturday stream or one where I just like testing stuff out. But we'll see. All right. So let's talk about uh, the first SpongeBob Christmas special, which is called two things. It is called Christmas Who from season 2, episode 8, or Patchy the Pirate presents the SpongeBob Christmas. Um, Also, if you're looking through like a list on streaming, they often put the dates thing premiered, so you think you can follow that and go to the end of the season. But this is the 8th episode production wise. I don't know why we need to know when they produced this show all those years ago. They can't be at the end where it makes more logical sense. Shouldn't be in air order. Whatever. So if you're looking for it, it's in the middle of the season. It's confusing. However, this is pretty significant SpongeBob wise because it is the first appearance of Patchy the Pirate and the parrot, which is named Potty. I kept hearing Potty. I don't remember that. Patchy the Pirate is also played by Tom Kenny. It's live action, who also voices SpongeBob. But I will also say this is a good Christmas episode. I know Nickelodeon plays this every year. Of course, they play it every year. But I was actually kind of surprised. I definitely saw it a long time ago. Maybe close the first year it re-aired or something. I don't want to give myself credit. I was watching SpongeBob back then, so maybe around the time it was new. But I'm not going to give myself that credit because I don't think so. But I feel like I saw it maybe in like my freshman year dorm. Maybe I sort of have memories of that. Whatever, doesn't matter. Great, cool story, bro. Basically, it's a very nice kind of Christmas spirit episode. Um, so it starts off. SpongeBob sees Sandy putting up Christmas lights, and he thinks it's a fire, so he has to put it out. And then she explains what Christmas is and who Santa Claus is. And SpongeBob tells everybody about Santa Claus. Everyone gets really excited except for Squidward, who thinks it's dumb because he's Squidward. Of course, he's like a not cool. So he gets all upset, and then uh, he sees everyone's disappointed that Santa Claus doesn't show up, at least when they think he's going to show up. And so he pretends to be Santa Claus and sort of gives SpongeBob just some crap from his house. Then, of course, everyone else shows up, and Squidward ends up the most cynical one, be showing the true meaning of Christmas, which is giving, not receiving, and all that. I like the spirit of this, and I think this is a really good episode because it both has all the trademark weird SpongeBob humor. When Santa shows up, he's doing this weird head stuff. It can get really dark and funny. Squidward, like, you also get like a specific Christmas version of the theme song. You get a SpongeBob dancing with Christmas stuff in the background. You get a lot of like very SpongeBob-isms, but also being Christmas at the same time. I think it really splits the difference of like, because as I've said before, a lot of these specials are just like, what are our traditions? Or this person doesn't know, well, I guess this does do that, doesn't know Christmas, or I have to get a present for someone or something like that. And I think this is like very authentic to what SpongeBob is, but authentic to what Christmas is at the same time, which seems to be a hard thing for a lot of these things to do. But this one doesn't. I do like the Patchy stuff, but it is weird because there's so much Patchy the Pirate at the beginning that you're like, why is he the chairman of SpongeBob's fan club? Why are we here? What's going on? I enjoyed it, but I've heard almost any review I could find criticize that when they were a kid, they like were very lost on that because he was a new character. They didn't understand why I'm watching this for so long. It's super weird, and they don't get it. I sort of like that. I like that SpongeBob. That was one thing that attracted me to SpongeBob when I was a teenager. It premiered when I was like later teens. I liked how weird it was, and this reminded me of that time. Where I was like, no, man, SpongeBob is cool. You gotta get into this. Um, it did, and it's like, but it was still like a nice Christmas episode. I can honestly see this. I don't think it's like I'm gonna let my kids watch it, and this obviously it's like sort of more of a SpongeBob Christmas year because of a SpongeBob movie coming out around Christmas. That's why I'm reviewing it, much like how I did Sonic last year because Sonic came out around Christmas. Um, but I can see this going into the rotation. This is a good. We should probably put this in a rotation of Christmas specials. It is a good Christmas. It's a solid Christmas special. Maybe I should review some of the other ones. I don't know if there's one people prefer. I think this played has been playing the most, it seems, to my limited understanding. But I thought it was really good. I liked how it showed the Christmas spirit. It is interesting. It's sort of like the perspective of this episode changes, which is odd, but it rides it very well. Where at the beginning he's with Sandy, she doesn't show up again after that. You're basically following SpongeBob. It eventually switches perspectives to Squidward, and it's like it goes naturally, but it's like I think if anything else did that, you wouldn't expect it. But but the live action Santa is really good. I like the Patchy the Pirate stuff. It's a weird episode. It's probably a weirder Christmas special, but it owns it. It is early SpongeBob, so it's fairly consistent. And it reminded me why I like this show. It reminded me of that. Although usually we watch earlier SpongeBob in my house because the way God intended it, I guess. But it was a solid Christmas special. I think this should be in the conversation with the best Christmas specials. I think it is very good, but it also gives you the taste of SpongeBob you want. If you're gonna watch a SpongeBob Christmas special, this doesn't disappoint. It gives you what you want from SpongeBob. It gives you what you want from Christmas. It has weird, cynical jokes and strange, what would become early internet humor, which probably spawned from this anyway. It reminded me why everyone said they ripped off Spumco. It of the early criticisms and all that. Reminded me of all that. It was like a fun rewatch, and I was kind of happy. Some of these times I see some of these Christmas specials, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I know what that is now. And then other times I'm pleasantly surprised, and I would say this is in the pleasantly surprised column. I would not say this is like a new classic the way I felt about some of the Jim Henson stuff and stuff like that. But I did think this was rather good, and I think this is not something that you should sleep on, particularly if you like SpongeBob. And I'm definitely going to show my kids this Christmas season. And yeah, Chan talks more movies. The new Silent Night, Deadly Night good. I'm confused about that one. I think I'm throwing back to that tomorrow. The original. I reviewed the original years ago. Although I prefer Christmas Evil is the best of the Santa Claus movies. Bob just won. I hope that was. I don't know. I think that was a good review. All right, let's just do questions and this fucking thing. If anyone can do another super chat, we'll do the flashy again. Because we're almost at the thing. I would say, here's the thing: that early Ren and Stimpy is fairly precedent setting, but I think SpongeBob probably has more good episodes. You know, I don't like to throw things out that are like history making. I definitely understand the uncomfortableness. I'm not gonna. I know a lot of people don't find it gross even before that. So, oh, it was really funny. A lot of kids kills. Cool. I almost read Silent Night, Deadly Night too, but there's too much. And I think I think it's 12 Good Night or something. I have a horror movie. Um. A Christmas horror movie review shot, and I don't know if I'll ever edit. I need to do that. I think it's To All a Good Night because I found it. And I was like, oh, and I knew. But anyway, all right. Let me do questions below. All right, let's do Austin. Let's do Austin. Wait, no, actually, no. Cinram does. You know what? Cinram does those timestamps. We're doing Cinram first. Hello, Jim. So I fired up the YouTube app on my phone last week and was presented with something called a 2025 recap, which turned out to be some stats on my YouTube viewing over the past year. Guess whose channel I watched the most? Go on, guess. That's right, yours. According to the stats, I watch your videos more than any other channel. 177 videos in total. Wow. Which, according to the YouTube stats, puts me in the 0.4% of your viewers. The stats also claim that I watch a lot of Patrick H. Willems, Jeremy Johns, and myself. Embarrassing. I guess I rewatched my Jeff Bridges monologue a bit too much. Anyway, did you get a recap from YouTube? And if so, what did it say? I know, well, it said I watched myself a lot, which I wish it didn't count myself as my own views. I think that's kind of fucking bullshit. I've long had that thing. Oh, William Elman, I'll get to you in a second, William Elman, but I'll put on the lights. I've long felt that I shouldn't count when I'm just checking on, like, I don't know, having to rewatch something or anyway. So I was kind of embarrassed. I didn't want to share that, but I think Todd in the Shadows was up there. I forget what else. I know him because I watch him a lot. Forget what it was now. I wonder if it's still there, but I remember I was because well, but I think that shouldn't count. I think you shouldn't count on your own. That's my opinion. Makes me feel like I'm fraudulent or something. All right. But yeah. Forget who else was on there. Maybe Rock and Roll True Stories. I watch that channel too much. Probably that one. Anyway, Merzel Torres says, what happens if Avatar 3 flops? Would the Globes reset the achievement a box office nomination, or would that be the achievement in itself that Avatar flopped? That's a good point. The problem I have with the cinematic thing, that makes it sound like a really cool art movie that did something no one else did. But yeah, I guess that is about, in theory. Like, what was William Woman said, how would you rank these William Friedkin films? Blue Chips, Bug, Cruising, The Boys in the Band. I don't know if I saw Bug. Cruising was at least interesting. Blue Chips has been a really long time. Boys in the Band has been a really long time. I want to almost go Cruising, Boys in the Band, Blue Chips. Bug I never saw. I'm not going to pretend I saw that, but cheers to you. Sorry, you picked the Freakins. I don't know as well. Sorry. Cheers to you. I mean, Exorcist, French Connection, I've been meaning to rewatch for a long time. Okay, Jordan Bouchard, what are some of your favorite food spots, and what do you like to order at them? I mainly just make my own food right now. So that's the deli around the corner. I like a turkey with everything. So that, well, I like deli sandwiches. Deli sandwiches fucking roll. Nothing wrong with deli sandwich. And I'll do Austin real quick. Says, hey, Jim. I think he also asked me the same question, so I'll answer it again. Hey Jim, what a great show. Also for the kind of late question, been a busy day. I hope you're well. My question is, what are some of your favorite places? Your favorite and favorite places in New York City? I guess I like Prospect Park, to be honest with you. I like I like most movie theaters. Lincoln Center I like, although I do Regal a lot, so I'd probably say, if we're being real, Regal Essex. One place, and this will sort of answer both of those questions, is there's a place on the Lower East Side called Economy Candy. Thank you very much, Manila Butterfly. Cheers to you. I always appreciate it. There's a place called Economy Candy, and it's a candy store that's like everything foreign candy, everything. And before we saw Zootopia this past weekend, I took my kids and we got like a ton of with too much candy, but it was fun. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, if you like candy, go. A lot of people think it's weird. I like candy. Fucking candy's yummy. What the fuck is your problem? Nathaniel Fogel, what's an original cut of a movie you'd like to see reappear in theaters? Honestly, I'm sort of not joking. Star Wars related, and this doesn't get the same kind of buzz, I'd say. Um, the Phantom Menace cut I saw in theaters. I think that's you can't even see that because Yoda's CG um in the on ever since then. Um, Other than that, though, original cut. Well, The Shining. Let's say that with the sequence I did that video on a long time ago. And I think I said it was a July 4th party. It was New Year's Eve because I'm fucking stupid. Um, the original Metropolis cut, which oh man, I used to project for a school, and it's happened two different times to two different teachers. They give me Metropolis, say hit play, I'll be right back at the end. And I said okay, and like the problem is they would look at the runtime for the German premiere, which no one's had access to in like years and years, and so the movie would end, and like they would leave, and it'd be like an hour later, and teachers would show up, and they're like, "Well, couldn't you hold them?" And I was like, "Hold them with what? Like that was an hour ago." Anyway, I wouldn't mind the Metropolis cut. The original, you know what? I'll give you one. The Wild Boys of the Road original ending because I know they reshot that um, from the 30s. So there, I think that's some good ones. And I wouldn't mind watching the T2 director's cut. I need to watch T2 again. I've been thinking about it. Anyway, Cornbread said, question, missed the first half of the stream. I'm going to realize the Game Awards. I'm going to try to remember that next year. Which I'll say, next year I'll say, you know what? I really got to remember Game Awards. So I feel like that messed with our flow this time. But it's okay. You know, I can't, you know. But it was, anyone who's here, I appreciate it. It's fine. But I think I should be more better at moving around it next year. You know what I mean? Cornbread said, missed the first half stream, but I'm here now, and that's important. The most important question I've ever asked, actually, lean closer. Have you heard about the cran grape Welch goes? Haven't we done? Oh, so we've done. It's a cran grape goes. Okay. I thought it was just a. I haven't seen it. If I'll look around for it, I do actually have the energy drink for next week already, but I'll look around for it. I have extra time because we'll have some time in the holidays. I will look around. I can't guarantee it. If I can find it for next week, but we'll see. The Dubluner Hunter. Anyway, what are you doing for Christmas? Just hang out with my family. I'm gonna see relatives in Baltimore soon and stuff like that, but I'm not. We're just staying at home, and hopefully I get everyone's stuff, and it's all making me nervous, but I hope it'll be good. Embla T question. Yes, the next one. Sorry. Question: would Paramount be smart if they should have kept Rush Hour at WB to pressure Trump? They'll make 4 if they own the studio first. I I don't know what's. I heard it was canceled, and then I heard it wasn't. I don't know what's going on with that thing. And I think maybe anyone who's trying to make it is like, wait, how much would that cost? So I feel like it's never happening. It's just a dump. Trump is like very obsessed with like media stuff that does not matter anymore. Medela Butterfly, do you like living in New York? Would you ever move to Florida? I do like it in general. I wish it was cheaper here. I think it's way too much, which I think everybody says. I've never been to Florida. When I was a kid, I was obsession because of Nickelodeon. I'm gonna have some of this so I can get through this. Not so much now, but I would still try to go to Nickelodeon Studios. Um, Emblezy Supergirl trailer made me cry because the lead looks like my friend who didn't want to talk to me anymore, depressing me for months. Should I say sorry or should I skip this movie then? I'm not exactly sure why, but I would say you should always try to apologize. If it's too hard for you, to be honest with you, I used to be in the camp of you should see anything and mess with your cinematic palette and stuff. It doesn't matter about your feelings, but as I'm older, it does. And if a movie makes you uncomfortable for even a silly reason, don't see it if you don't think. But I would recommend, in realness, like try to say sorry because as you get older, you will miss your friends. What's your favorite underrated Christmas film, Nathaniel Foga? There's one like It Happened on Fifth Avenue, which I hear not brought up as much. Underrated. Oh, Harold and Kumar. I don't hear that brought up. Harold and Kumar Christmas. I don't hear brought up. Um, can you do the iconic Smiling Friends finger point? Is that like where I go? Well, let me bring up as I call my monitor. Where's the? Where are you? Oh, whoa! What did I just do? Hold on. Oh, I just turned up something too much. Why did I? Is it where you go like this? This? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm sorry. It must be iconic. I clearly know it. Wait, was there another Nathan? Oh, William Ullman. Lumen. How would you rank the Marx Brothers? Okay, Chico, Harpo, Groucho, Gummo, Zeppo. I would go. Groucho's first. Harpo, Zeppo, Gummo, Chico. I hope that made sense. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I watched Marx Brothers. But I mean, I think Groucho's got to be right. Anyway, cheers. I hope I did that right. Cheers to you, really well. Um, question. Okay, favorite soup. I'm more of a chili. I don't like soup actually. Always burns my mouth, no matter when. The Racket Lomax. Do you or Ian still have the original high quality Masters of the Knox Forest song mixtape? I think whatever is out there is as high quality as it gets. It's on Internet Archive, and I can confirm neither Ian or I put it there because I didn't, and so I was like, he did, and I asked him, he's like, I didn't do that. And I was like, oh, then I don't know who did. Somebody did. I think most of it's out there. I should check at some point, but I'm sort of like busy with my own shit, you know. Embla T, is there too much nostalgia and is it stunting our humanity? Should we evolve rather than the world to evolve our own unmoved ways? I did say in my Predator Badlands, I had a thing about how I feel like millennials and about how millennials believed in a system that failed them, but then our creativity is only through established systems of our youth. And I should probably make a short of that or something, but I do feel like there's a certain stunting of how much we've done, and I do feel like there's a hesitancy of those generations to uh I guess get into newer stuff, but I also think that's partly because the people who are nostalgic for stuff who are in their 40s are that's usually when you're not, you know, me wearing a smiling shirt is kind of weird at that point, you know. If it was the 90s you saw a 40-year-old wearing a Nirvana shirt, you think it's weird. So I think it's sort of a more of a natural progression. I wish people were more open to newer stuff. I find it depressing to be honest with you. Sometimes I'm like I do think it part of it I do think is the age of the viewer, and those are not viewers who are known to take on newer things. And I think before they'd watch reruns or like more um uh I guess kind of like procedural shows, and that's sort of changed in the time since then. So I hope that answers that question. I apologize if it did. I feel like it did. Cornbread, you got a better look at the Street Fighter film than I did. I know you already said your thoughts, but what about my thoughts? What do you think Cornbread across the world will think? I think it looked fine. It just looked like a big studio Street Fighter, post Marvel Street Fighter. Austin, what do you think Felix the Cat, Australia's favorite cat, does on Christmas? I think he jumps into a Christmas tree and goes into another dimension and comes back, and it's all weird, and we're all good. Al Vasquez, favorite Street Fighter character. It's been everyone from. Ah, God, I can't remember it. I used to play it like Bolka was the Spanish guy with the mask, Chung Li. It's been a bit. You know, I really haven't played in a while, but my daughter's pretty good at fighting games, so maybe I should play it with her. But I don't think it matters. I think she just wants to play Smash Brothers, and I don't disagree with that. Emma T, you think the real reason why cinema's failing because physical media has gotten lazy? No, I think cinema's biggest issue is more that it is not engaging with multiple demographics anymore, and that's the biggest problem. I think they're good at picking new weekends, but it needs to be hitting multiple demographics. Austin, have you seen the first Puppet Master with Jimmy? I've not seen the first Puppet Master. Favorite Christmas song? It's usually Jingle Bell Rock. Well, I heard recently Jingle Bell was like a weird minstrel thing. It was made to like tease black people, and I was like, is that like? I wasn't sure if that was real, and I wanted to. I need to look that up, but right now it's Jingle Bell Rock. Asterisks. I'll find out later. Austin, are you going to watch more? Haha, you counts. I think that dad raised those boys right. No, probably not. I think I'm done. I did my thing. I'm good. Maybe if season 2, if people want me to give season 2 a chance, I'm open to that, but I'm good for now. Question: if there's one Christmas tradition you would erase that the world could live without, what would it be? Um, all the parties and stuff. It's just like, can we like spread that out throughout the year? It seems like a lot. Okay. What does sound good? I hope it, whatever it was, I hope it did. Uh, was gone during the Disney AI. So, do you know how earlier this year that a Disney approved Fortnite AI Vader immediately went to sing slurs? Whatever. I think I saw that. I thought you posted that, but I did see that. Yeah. Have you seen Ghost Cereal? No, that sounds gross. So no. Pup. Assuming it was done justice, what's a band you would like to see a biopic for? I have said Eric B. and Rakim before. I think the New York Dolls, if that hasn't happened in some regard. The Pixies. Um, I think that's it. I think I sort of answered that. More of a correction. Hey, hey, was the Babu Frick catchphrase. Jesus. Babu Frick is such a Rick and Morty, post Rick and Morty creation. Um, okay. Wait, okay, so there's another emblet or William Ellen, sorry, said, how would you rank these Mike Nicholas films? Carnal Knowledge, Catch 22, Charlie Wilson's Wild, Angels in America. Last question. Hope everyone has a good night. That's fine. Thank you for your generosity, William Ellen. Of those, I actually really like Carnal Knowledge, so I'd say Carnal Knowledge. Angels in America, it's been a while, and Catch 22, it's been a very long time. So I'm gonna actually rank those last because my memories of those are lower. I might go Carnal Knowledge, Charlie Wilson's War. I think Angel America is better than Catch 22. So I'd say I'd put Carnal Knowledge. I like Carnal Knowledge. I actually think it's sort of underrated. Although I think most times with that, yeah, Mike Nichols 70s stuff gets sort of weird thing there. Okay, GameStop has had a trade anything day. What would you have traded in to get credit? I don't have any games to trade in right now. I don't know anything. Like give them a nickel. The Dead Zone is an underrated because man, I haven't watched that in a long time. How would you rank the Stooges? I don't know. I was actually thinking of rewatching them with my son. So you know what? If I rewatch them, ask me that again. Ask me that again. Okay. If I say I watched those with my son, because it's been a minute, and I know I've been talking about rewatching it, and I, I, I would say maybe Mo. I don't know. It's been a little bit, and I know I'm going to. So maybe just give me a minute. Uh, you think the Magatu hair for Guile for the Street Fighter movie is a reference to Raka Raka's old YouTube videos since they were supposed to be made? Oh, I actually don't think that's a crazy joke thing. I sort of think maybe. Uh, I would, you know what? Maybe I go Mo, Larry, Curly, but it's been a while. Favorite Hanukkah film and why is it Eight Crazy Nights? I can't think of any other Hanukkah movies. I would say the Rugrats episode though. I've long thought about reviewing that, maybe one year. So they do a lot of Christmas stuff. What is your favorite? What is Cornbread's favorite Christmas movie? My favorite, I guess, is Home Alone or Never for Christmas. Never for Christmas, I think, is very good. So that's the problem. I don't know if it's my favorite Christmas movie. It's either Elf or Home Alone, probably. Or It's a Wonderful Life, pretty undefeated. Question: you could trade anything. A picture Sophie drew. Well, then she should get the game then. Okay, is that everything? I think we got everything. I think we did it. Did we do it? I think we did it. All right. I guess this is a shorter one. That's kind of neat. All right. Thank you all for being here. I I think it'll probably be the SpongeBob Christmas thing tomorrow, so I apologize. It's just there's a lot going on, and I do kind of want to get the Christmas things out, so because there's a limited time there. So if you do see that, be chill about it. I just have a lot going on this weekend. And hopefully a movie review out right after that. But we'll see. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Let's do the super chat thank yous. Thank you, particularly to William Elman. He deserves a lot. But I like to thank every. Okay, we have Black Sea, Jord Tunes or Jordan Bashard, William Elman, M Blood T, William Elman, Super Kirby Dude Austin, William Elman, Medella Butterfly, William Elman. Thank you, William Elman. Have a good night, all. I'll do M Blood T's last question. Oh wait, hold on. Not plausible. Hold on. What is your favorite? What is your opinion on international investments? This is what this channel's for, right? Thanks. What do you mean by movies being shot? Movies being directed, finally seeing crowd out to the water. Thanks for reading that. Someone I literally heard on a podcast, someone goes, he's a great critic. Everyone loves him. And I was like, I'm sure he is. And we all say like dumb things in reviews at one point, but that's like an all-timer. All right. Everybody have a good weekend. Thank you for your support. Have fun watching Fargo tomorrow. Happy birthday. Who was it? Who picked that? Whoever it was, happy birthday. It's been a long week. I'm tired. I'll see y'all next week. And have a good night. Peace. And take care of each other's. And Merry Christmas. And see you around. All right. Peace. Bye.